What's up, YouTube? Back with another video. Gonna be doing a video on the Anfibio, the settings, and recommendations, how to use the Anfibio. Be getting a lot of messages and emails on my settings, where my tone breaks are, just different things about the Anfibio that I've been asked. So I'm going to try to answer some of those questions and show you how I run my Anfibio. I really don't run anything special with the Anfibio. It's just really a basic setup, just doing a few things to it, not doing anything special or out of the ordinary, just trying to use the Anfibio to the fullest of its capabilities. Mostly my success comes from is research. I do a lot of research, try to find a lot of different spots that others may overlook, or spots that are private permissions. Trying to eliminate the competition, because there are so many people here where I stay that metal detects, and so I mainly avoid parks unless they are in a different town, smaller towns preferably, because there's a chance that not that many people metal detect in small towns. High populated towns, you probably going to have some people there that metal detects, and you're going to have competition. So that's where a lot of my success comes from, is researching. I try to put myself in a better position for the Anfibio to find the targets, instead of just going to the same old place hoping that I find some targets, especially in places that people say these parks are hunted out, and it just puts yourself in a real bad position to find the target, because you don't know who's been to that park before you got there that day or that week before or whatever. And you spend hours and hours and hours trying to find one deep target that might be in that park. Because I've had people say, oh, I know this park has history. I know there's deep targets there. I just need to get a setting that's super deep. Well, that's pretty much impossible for really any detector. You're only going to get a certain amount of depth because of many factors, the ground conditions, the condition of the dirt. It's just a lot of factors that come into play when you're trying to get the super, super, super deep targets. And to me, I don't want to waste half a day trying to find one target that's, a foot deep. And so I research and try to find different spots to find not super deep, but 9-10 inches, that's fine with me. Anything deeper wasn't meant for me to find. If I can't find it with the Anfibio that deep, then other people with other type of detectors are going to have problems finding it too. And so I try to put myself in different places and positions to find the finds that I find. It's not that I'm running anything special with the Anfibio. It's just research, and that's the number one thing. And then my detector, I can put any detector in a place that everybody goes, and every detector is gonna, you're not gonna find anything, and then you get frustrated, and then you say that that detector's not working correctly, or it's not finding anything deep. Well, it's probably out of the range of that detector. It's probably many things that happens. And people say, oh, well, I took this detector at a 100-out park and it found this. Well, I've taken the Anfibio to 100-out spots and it found stuff, and so did my simplex. but I don't want to spend all day doing that. I'd rather go to a spot that I can find something, that's, average deep or a little above average deep, 6 to 9 inches, and I'm fine. But, I'm going to show you how I'm running my Anfibio. If these settings work for you, fine. If they don't, then I don't know. This is what's working for me. It's been working for me. So I'm going to go over some of the settings, go over some of the tone breaks, how to set it up, how to save it, your settings, and what frequencies and what's the best frequency, and then try to cover some other things that that I've been asked about the Anfibio. First of all, I already got my detector turned on, and you can see it's already saved at 5 tones. So as soon as I turn my detector on, it's going to go right to that 5-tone program. Actually, I have settings for every tone, from 2-tone, 3-tone, 4-tone, and 5-tone. I don't use 2-tone really, and I don't use 99-tone. I have used them both. I'm just more comfortable with 5-tone. That's just my preference. I don't hunt beaches because there's no beaches here. So one guy was asking me what setting to use in black sand for beaches. I don't hunt beaches. There's no beaches here. So I can't give you an honest answer and setting on how to set up your Anfibio for beach mode. Now there is a guy that's on the Nomad team. He's a field team member for Note to Macro. He hunts beaches, and he'll probably give you a better answer. I did contact a few of the Nomads, the field team members, and asked them about that. And so I'm explaining to you how he does it. And he hunts in the black sand with the Anfibio. He says it does really good. Deep mode, I use deep mode for confirmation on deep targets. And cache mode, I don't use. All right, so let's go to 3-tone first. And 3-tone, as you can see right there, I have a setting set for 3-tone. Now 3-tone is a very fast program. 3-tone is mostly used for parks. You're not going to get very much depth. It's good in if you do door knocking. It's good for that because you're not going to get a whole lot of interference in 3-tone. But you're going to get a fast recovery. It's good for trashy areas, homesteads, and all that. It's very fast, but it's not very deep. So 3-tone is more like a beginner's program. If anyone that's just now trying out the Anfibio or using Anfibio, always refer them to 3-tone until they get used to the detector, and then I help them with 4 and 5 tones. And a few people were saying that I won't help people with settings or give them my settings. I've helped lots and lots and lots of people with settings, and after they got used to that detector, the Anfibio, they emailed me back and said they got it down now. They're finding more stuff. They're finding deeper stuff. So I always tell people you have to learn that Anfibio before you can just try to jump into an advanced part of the Anfibio. And then you see me or other people that use the Anfibio finding all these targets and think you can just pick the Anfibio up and just do the same thing. You have to know this detector. And it's not a complicated detector to use or to learn. It's very simple. So I'm going to show you my 3-tone settings and why I have it set up like this. So as you can see, I am in 3-tone. And then if I go to my settings, you see I have my gain at 89. The reason why I have it at 89 is because it's fast. It gives it, it's super fast in 89. You don't have to run your Anfibio wide open. There's people say I have it wide open and I'm not getting any depth. If you run your detector or this Anfibio to 99, you're going to get a fast recovery speed, super fast recovery speed, especially in 3-tone. Now, if you take your gain up to 90, it's going to slow down the recovery speed, but you're going to gain a little bit more depth. But at the same time, if you try to, set your sensitivity or gain up to 96, 97, 98, 99, wide open like that, you're not gaining any more depth. Actually, you hurting the Anfibio because you're making that coil so sensitive that the target that you're trying to lock onto is picking up all that trash and everything else around that target. And so you're missing that target because you think it's a trashy target. That's because it's picking up all the other stuff that's around that coil or underneath that coil instead of locking on that hard target that's in the center of the coil. So you need to back your sensitivity down, to 90, 192, 93. You're not going to gain any more depth by running your gang up to 99. No, you're not going to get your depth on the gang is going to stop around 92, 93. You're not going to gain any more depth. So there's no need to run it out. You're going to hurt yourself trying to run it wide open. You don't have to run it wide open, trust me. And you can run your sensitivity or your gain to 70 and you're still going to get tremendous depth with Anfibio. I got it set at 89 for fast recovery. I dissed at 21. I'm not expecting to find anything deep when I'm running in 3-tone. Usually I'm at a park because the parks are mostly trashy. And so I set my disc about 21. Now you see on my 4 and 5-tone, I have my disc set a little lower than that. Anything 21 and below is pretty much going to be iron. And then I have found gold rings, like that little gold pendant that I found, not this last hunt, but the hunt before that. It came in at a 22, and gold runs very different on this Anfibio. I mean, it comes in a wide band of segments from 22 to 60. I should have got some of the gold rings that I found. I could have showed you the difference and why that is because of the size of the ring and the carat of the ring. It's going to ring up different. I found gold that came in at 22 to 41 to 60. And so it's different, on your disc. So I got that set at 21. And then my notch, it's always going to go, your notch is always going to go one segment above your disc. Now, I don't notch anything out. I'm not that type of hunter. I'm a dig it all person. So I don't notch anything. Now, some people might notch certain things out. But if you do, I'm telling you, you're going to miss a lot of targets because a lot of different things ring up in a lot of different segments. And if you just want to run, a high tone, or just cherry picking, then I guess, yeah, you can notch, certain targets out, but I don't notch anything out because I don't want to miss anything. Just from the experiences of using the Anfibio and any Nocta macro detector, I found that by notching out different things, I've missed a lot of targets that came in a different segment, so I don't notch out anything. Someone had told me to notch out 96 and above because no coins come up, above 96 or really 95, which is true. But I was digging at the military base with a subscriber, and I was digging or swinging over a target that was ringing up 96, 97, and then it just stayed right there on the 97. It'll dip up to 98. Well, I thought it was probably an old smashed bottle cap, a deep bottle cap, or some type of iron trash. And so I passed it up at first, and then we kept swinging around that area, and then I swung over it again. I said, I'm just going to move this trash so I won't keep swinging over it. Well, I kind of found out it was a walker. Came in at a 97, 98. Now, I don't know why it rung up that high. It could have been the minerals in that dirt. It could have been some trash or some iron close by it that was messing with the VDI, but it ended up being $50. And so I won't notch out. I don't notch out 96 and above. I won't do that. I don't use notch, period. And that's the reason why I don't use notch. My notch volume it's useless to me. Now my tones, you can see it's got three segments right here. You got Z1, Z2, Z3. That's where you set your tones to be. Say for instance, if I hit say Z2, of course you know that's mid-tone. I can back that down to about 29 right there, because that's where nickels is going to come in at. And then when I switch over to Z2, that's where all your high tones going to come in. Now I can back that all the way down, you know, just as far as I want to go with it, you know, but I leave it right there, and I leave that there, and then that's where my nickels come in, but I usually leave it about right there. The tone volume, that's how much of it you want to hear, like the volume of it, you know. Oops, go back right there. You can, if you don't want to hear much of the mid-tones, you could just turn that volume down if you want right there. You could turn it off, you could turn it on. You know, that's how it go right there. I use it at 3. And then my high tones and everything, I really want to hear those. And then you can see I barely got that iron turned on. I like to hear a little bit of the iron. I don't like for it to be silent. I know a lot of people don't like to hear the iron, but I like to hear it. I like to hear some of it. Also on this tone right here, you can make these sound different. You can make it sound different. That's going to give you an iron grunt. But if I wanted to make that a high tone, say I wanted to make that iron a high tone, I could take that all the way up to 80. Right there. And that's going to give me a high tone on iron. On iron, if I wanted to do that. But I don't do that. You know, I like to keep it at 15. And if you take your detector out and you start messing with your tones, and you start, you know, listening to these tones right here, you'll see it'll give you a different tone right here. I keep it at 15. And then this one here give you a different tone here too. And then I have that set at 80. That's going to give me a very, very high pitch. And then of course, that's the volume. And then you see your tone breaks right here. You're only going to get 2 tone breaks right there. I don't use any tone breaks right there. On your ISAT, now I keep mine at 1 or 0, depending on how my ground balance go. If I got, say, like a 60, you know, 55, 60 ground balance, then I leave my ISAT at 0. I put it on 0 right there. Now, if I'm getting above 65 to 70 on my ISAT, I take it to 1. Now, you could take this all the way up to 10, but and it's going to eliminate, you know, hot rocks and black sand and all that stuff. But the higher you take your ISAT, you're going to lose depth. You're going to lose that depth if you use that ISAT that high. And so I never run mine past 1. Right there, that's where I keep mine. And on my frequency, you see I use 5 kilohertz. The reason why I use 5 kilohertz is because it's going to give me a deeper wavelength to a deeper silver on 5 kilohertz. I very seldom use 14 kilohertz, and I use 20 kilohertz sometimes. I used to use it a lot, but after swinging in my test garden and swinging over targets, that 5 kilohertz will make that deeper silver sounds a lot better than 20 kilohertz. Now, if it's at an average depth around, you know, 6 inches, you know, 5 inches or something like that, 20 kilohertz and 14 kilohertz will hit it just fine. But if it's deeper, say like 9, 10 inches, you're going to hear it better in 5 kilohertz than you are 20 kilohertz or 14 kilohertz. And then, of course, that's the volume and the brightness and the vibrate inches. And then some people was asking me, how do you save your settings after you set it up? Well, if you go to FD and then you save, let's go back over there. You hit select. Wait a minute. Let me do this over. You go here, then you cross over. That's save, and that's default. Save, and then you hit select, and you'll see those lines going across there at the top. That means it's saving that program. So every time I turn this detector on and I use that 3-tone, that setting right there is saved right there. Okay, now we're going to go to 4-tone. You can see I'm in 4-tone, and you see I've had my gain at 80. I don't have to run it up super high to get deep in 4-tone or 5-tone, because the Anfibio, it's already a deep detector. I don't have to run it wide open to get the deep stuff. So I have my gain at 80. You can see I have my dist at 21. Of course, my notch is going to be at 22. And then you can see you got the 3 Z's right there, and that's for your tones, how you want to set your tones up. Now, say like somebody was asking me, how do you make your nickels go to a high tone? I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, say you in there. Okay, so your nickels come in right about there. Your nickel's going to come in around in Z3. If you back that down to where, well, in 4-tone, it'll come in here. Now, if you back this down, say right there, if you take that all the way up to 80 in your Z2 mode, your nickels right there will come in at a high tone. That's how you set it up. That's how you set your tone up for nickels if you want them to come in at a high tone. It'll come in right around in your Z2 area right there. Your Z3 area will be more like your Indian head pennies, your brass, and wheats and all that stuff. So that's where you would, if you want your high tones to come in on your nickels, you go to your Z2 and you take it all the way up to 80, and those nickels will come in at a high tone. I don't have mine set up like that, but a person was asking about that. Right there. And then of course you have your volume. You see I have it right there. I got my Z3 set at 3 and my Z4 set at 5 and my Z1 set at 2. Of course, my tone breaks. It's there at 15. It's going to break that tone. It's going to break right there on 30, because that's where your nickel's going to come in by 29.30. Oops. And then right there is where your zinc pennies and some Indian heads. I've dug an Indian head. Usually Indian heads ring up like a 59, 58, 60. I've dug an Indian head that came in at a 66, rang up just like a zinc penny. I also dug small silver rings that came in at a 66, 67, sounded just like a zinc penny, but it was a small silver ring. Those small silver rings come in just like zinc pennies. So if you not digging those zinc pennies, they come in at 66, 65, 67, you could be missing small silver rings. So always remember that. And of course, you see where I have my ISAT at 1. And of course, I'm at 5 kilohertz. Okay. So we're gonna go to my 5-tone. This is what I mostly use right here is my 5-tones. The reason why I use 5-tone is because I don't want to have so many different tones for so many different targets or crunched in at a certain segment. Say like I'm running 3-tone. I have so many targets that's gonna come in that, those segments, because you only got 3 segments. You got your mid or your low, your mid, and your high. On my 5-tone, and if you run it this way, that silver will be a very distinctive sound. It'll be a soft, high pitch, very soft, high pitch, and it'll flutter. Like, it'll flutters. It makes this sound that that it's silvery. I mean, that it's possible that's silver. Now, on clad quarters, it won't make that sound. It'll make a high tone, but it's not soft like it is on silver. On that silver, because of maybe the content of the silver, it makes this distinctive sound, and you have to get used to that sound to know that that's silver right there. When I was in Iowa at the Detecting the Heartland event, I was using my 5-tone program and just hunting with a guy that was using the Equinox 800, and we was comparing targets. I found a target and he'll swing over it, and he'll find a target and I swinging over it. Now, we wasn't doing a competition of which detector was better. We was just comparing the signals, what it ring up and sound like on an Anfibio and what it ring up and sound like on the Equinox. I have friends that use the Equinox today. I don't bash any brand detector. The people have their preference, and that's fine. Everybody don't like McDonald's, and everybody don't like Burger King. But I'm not gonna bash a person that don't like a certain thing because I like it. And so I don't do any bashing on whatever that person swinging. Hey, it's your preference. If that's what you like, hey, swing it. More power to you. I'm not mad at you. I'm not saying don't swing it. Hey, everybody's not gonna like the Anfibio. Everybody's not gonna like a Monlap. Everyone's not gonna like a Deus. Everybody have their preference. So it kind of trips me out how people get into these arguments about these detectors, and it's kind of like, oh, I don't know. That is it's crazy. I have a really good buddy of mine who swings the Equinox 800, and he works for the railroad. And every time he's close by, we go hunting, and there's no bashing. We go out and enjoy ourselves and detect and compare signals, but there's no competition, man. I don't understand that, but it is what it is with some people, I guess. But I don't do any bashing of any brand. If that's what you use, what you use. But when I was in Iowa and the Detecting the Heartland event, me and this guy, we were swinging. He was swinging the Equinox 800. I was swinging my Anfibio, and a lot of people was finding a lot of different things around I-10. Now, some people thought that we planted these coins, but we did not set our tent up where it was set up at. Someone else set the tent up there. So we had no idea that our tent was even set up there until me and another team member got there. So we had no idea. And people was finding stuff all around this area right here. Not just right there where I found that coin spill, but all around the tents from our tent. Then there was another tent next to ours. They was finding stuff over there. It was just a hot spot. And, people were finding stuff. So I said, I'm going to break out the Anfibio and I'm going to start detecting to see if I can find anything. And so I was detecting and I come across a signal and I swung over it. And I turned my headphones on because I heard that flutter. I had that flutter and that soft sound. I said, that's silver. And I told the guy who was swinging the Equinox, I said, come over here and swing your detector over this target. He swings over and he says, no, it's not silver, maybe a quarter, but it's not silver. I said, man, that's silver. And so I swung over it again without my headphones to let him hear it. And you can hear that soft pitch, that fluttering in there. So I knew it was silver. Without a doubt, I knew it was silver. And so another guy comes over and he's swinging an MX Sport and he swung over. He said, "It's reading high." Well, when we dug it up, it ended up being a walker. And so I showed a few people, and I covered up the hole back. I swung back over the hole, and I was still getting a signal. And out of that hole come out another walker, a nickel, a quarter, 2 dimes. It was a pretty nice spill. But running the Anfibio in this tone, if you get used to this sound, you'll have a 90% confidence that it's silver. So let me show you how I run it. Of course, I'm in 5-tone. And see, I got my gain at 89. I'm getting that fast recovery speed. I don't need to take it above 89. I don't need to try to get more depth. I'm getting good depth in 5-tone. And actually, 5-tone, you're getting really good depth. Not deep as deep mode, but in 5-tone, you're getting nice depth. And you're getting fast recovery speed in case you're in some trashy areas. It's going to recover fast. And see, I got my disc at 15 right there. So if people want to see where, and you see my notch, it's just at default. If that's where notch is set, remember it's going to set one point or one segment just above where you notched at. I don't use notch. I'm a dig it all person. I'm going to dig it all. And then, of course, my volume. Okay, now, here's how you're going to tell where that silver is right here and here. Okay, in my Z1, you see I got that 15. In 15, you're going to get a grunt, real low tone. And Z2, you're going to get a grunt mid-tone, Z3, you're going to get a mid-tone. Z4, you're going to get a mid-high tone. And in Z5, you're going to get a high tone. That's where that soft sound is going to come in. Let me show you. I don't have my coil on here, or I would show you what I mean because I'm inside and I don't want to get all the chatter and stuff. So I got my coil disconnected. But I'm going to show you where I have it set. I have my Z1 set right there at 15. My Z2 is set right there at 33. My Z2 is set at 45. My Z4 is set at 64. And you can see my Z5 is set at 80. That's going to give me that very distinctive high pitch that's going to flutter on that silver, especially if it's deep. It's going to flutter on it. It's going to be soft. It's not going to be like a high tone that you would get like on a coin that's 3 or 4 inches. Say like you dig in a clap quarter and you get that high pitch. On silver, it's going to be very soft fluttering sound. Very soft. If you go look at my videos, on my videos, a lot of time I'm digging iffy signals, so I'm not really hearing that flutter or that soft. But if you go through some of my videos to where I'm getting a clean signal, you hear that flutter. You hear that really distinctive soft sound because I explain it in the videos. You'll hear it, and that's how you would know it. It's very distinctive. Z1 is at 15. You're going to get a low grunt, like your iron grunt. On your Z2, you're going to get a low mid. 45, you're going to get a mid-tone, straight mid-tone. Z4, you're going to get a mid-high tone, which is going to be kind of like a high tone. But you can also change that if you don't like that sound. If you want that to come in high too, just take it up to 80 and you're going to get that high tone. But then you're putting too much stuff in that area right there. Take it back down to 64 right there. And you're going to get a kind of a high pitch, but a mid, kind of like a mixture of a high and a mid tone right there. And right there, very distinctive sound right there. Very distinctive. You're gonna hear that. You're gonna hear that high tone right there. That's where I have that set. My volume, see, I got it cranked out. I want to hear it. Right there on my low tones, the iron. I got that right there at 2. Right there, I got that at 2. Then when I start getting in my mid-range, you know, where my nickels and my, you know, brass and different stuff like that, I have it set right there at 3. I have that set at 3. That's where, you know, your zinc pennies, your Indian heads and stuff like that will come in. And right there is your high tones. Anything from a wheat penny on up is going to stand out right there. Okay, oops, went out of there. Let's go right there. Let's go back down to tone breaks. You're only going to get 4 tone breaks. Now everything in 5-tone, from where you have it set up from your tones, you already got it broke. It's already broke down. You don't have to use your tone breaks. You don't need it to break anywhere. It's going to break right there. Right here where you have your tones, that's where you're going to want it to break at. Right there. You're going to get that sound. If you run this program and then you go down here and you want to put some tone breaks in there, you're going to mess up that tone right there from breaking right here. So I leave that right where it's set, right there, because it's going to give you that sound. You don't want to mess with the tone breaks if you're running this 5-tone program. And see right there, it's breaking. It's going to break at that 30. After the 30, you know, 29, 30, that's where I'm going to get those nickels. Pull tabs and all that. It's going to come in 1 point above it. It'll come in like a 31, 32, 33. You know, also your goal's going to come there too. Remember that. Okay, right there, in this zone right here, that's where my Indian heads, you know, my zinc pennies, small silver rings, all that's going to come in that segment right there. All that's going to come around in that Z3 area right there. And then right there, it's going to break on that 85 right there. It's going to break right there. So that's where I leave it right there. I don't mess with any of that right there because I'm already listening to the tones right there. I'm already listening to what that's going to give me, what that's going to sound like, what's that's going to sound like, that, and that. You see I have my ISAT right there at 1. I never take it above that. And you can see I run it in 5-tone right there. That's where I run it. Okay. 99 tones I don't use like on a regular basis when I go out to detect. I'll mess around with it, but I don't use it. Beach mode. A guy was asking what's the best setting for that. Now, when I talked to one of the field team members, they said that you should ground balance it first when you're in beach mode. Ground balance your detector. And this is supposed to work in the black sand. Come on. You want to ground balance first. Once you ground balance in beach mode and you get your ground balance, you know, after you pump the coil and then it beeps a couple of times, 3 times, and you ground balance, then switch it over. Then switch it over. How do I get up? How do I mess it up, guys? After you ground balance in beach mode, then you want to take it to 3 or 4 tone. 3 or 4 tone. After you ground balance. After you ground balance. There we go. You want to take it to 3 or 4 tone. Ground balance in beach mode. Once you get your ground balance, it will be over here. Then you switch it to 3 or 4 tone. And that should help you out in the black soil at the beaches. Deep mode, I only use for confirmation. If I got a deep target, when I'm running my 5-tone or 4-tone program, if I come across a deep target and it's very faint, then I'm going to switch it down to deep mode because it's going to pull that target out. Also, another trick that you can use, you see right there where it says your EUD feature? Say I'm in 5-tone and I hit this button right here where you see EUD. If I tap it twice, you'll see that light start blinking. See it blinking? That means it's going to give me extra underground depth. It's going to bring that target out, but it's going to be distinctive. When you come across that target that you're trying to figure out what it is, it's going to give that a different type of pitch. It's going to sound real crazy, like, you know, I can't explain how it sounds, but it sounds funny. You'll know what it is. And so this video is already 40 minutes long. There's a whole lot more I have to cover. So I'll probably have to do maybe 2 or 3 more videos. Yeah, maybe another 1 or 2 more videos on some more settings. It's already running long enough. So if I hope this first part of this series helps you. Again, you can always contact me. You know, you can email me. I'll leave my email in the description. You can always email me or reach me through Facebook or Messenger, you know, whichever is easy. So I'm going to end this part of the video here, and then we'll pick it up again for video part 2. All right, guys, until next time, hello world. See you on the next one.